partnerships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Still smoking. What?
For the who be talking loud and holding his talking, he better lay low. Lay low. Just said I shot some shit about her, my now she sick. She better lay low. Lay low. Lay low. Be claiming my hood and really ain't for my gang. Better lay low. Lay low. I hope he don't be thinking I'm just talking and I won't do a thing. Really hope so.
Lay low, nobody move until I say so. Limo tent rolling deep like the president. See, I don't go to clubs, I never chase a. I'm here to bang that gangster to the apocalypse. We call it stress.
Welcome
Some of y'all call
in
it chocolate.
to hour
Return
2
to the top
of
dog.
RSVP
Ain't no
with Jill
stopping
Munroe
it.
here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Lay low, blow, big
Listen,
dope, slang records.
A lot of people laying low when Monique Sniper is out. Walmart might have to get down and lay down.
I
We'll
love
see.
when Whitney Houston did the lay low on the awards that time.
You better lay low. Go on, Whitney.
Rest in peace, Whitney.
Man, shut up. Wow, it's coming up in a couple of days.
I just realized that.
February 11th. 14 years.
Has it really been that long?
I mean,
Man.
12. I'm sorry, it's 2024, right?
Yeah.
And it happened 2012, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember exactly what I was doing when that happened. I was in Target in D.C.
I remember what happened, what I was doing too. It was a pretty traumatic night. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So, anyway, welcome back in. We're going to keep going on a little bit of our Monique topic because, as I said,
There's more. Oh, my God.
There's more. There is more and more
Make
and
it
more.
stop.
So, listen, we might swing back around to some of her Oprah comments. I think we got the general gist about Oprah again.
You know,
It's
people
just
are so fascinated with Oprah and the mysterious fake or real drama that surrounds her.
I mean, but I think it's because, one, for a period of time at least, Oprah's career has been so interesting, especially when, you know, we, and I say we, the black community, somewhat, I feel like, felt Oprah, you know, ventured away from us slightly, right?
Is it because she took her contacts out or because...
No, I think that in the you're funny. I think in the in the late 80s, early 90s,
Because
when
that's when the switch happened.
yeah, you're funny. I think
Think about it.
I do not think it's because of the contacts, but maybe it correlated with the time.
Oh, yeah, it did.
I think that when she started tapping into what her core audience became at that time, kind of similar to what we see happening with Discovery, Warner Discovery right now, Middle America, the flyover states, those housewives that were home during the day, you saw the kind of the content on the show change. You saw some of the subject matters change, you know, and tapped into more of those spaces at the time. That's when I think the book club got started, and she was one of the early ones, I feel, to have, you guys may not remember the Shirley MacLaine on there, when Shirley MacLaine was talking about out-of-body experiences and reincarnation. I think her book was called Out on a Limb and things of that nature. So I feel like there's a period of time when people were like, Oprah's not for us anymore. And then she started OWN, and that, I feel like they were like, well, this isn't for us. What is this Soulful Sunday? And which I used to love, and all of these woo-woo things. And her core audience from the Oprah show didn't stay tapped in, and she rolled around to programming that more spoke to us, and we saw the network take off. So I feel like that's, kind of how her trajectory
I
went.
love the Have and the Have-Nots. That was a good one.
That was a good show. See, those things, but I feel like, and again, we'll never know this, had the Oprah Winfrey Network launched in 2002, it would not have been shows like the Have and Have-Nots on there and Black Love and, things of that nature. I think it would have been a different thing, more along the lines of what it started out as. But listen, Miss Monique, she also shared some dating advice with Shannon Sharpe. Because we know Shannon Sharpe she and Shannon are around the same age, 55, 56, in that time frame.
He's the one that be going after them young girls, right?
Yeah, Shannon seems to want a relationship right now with a 20 or 30-year-old woman. That's his target. He was looking at, there's a girl on social media, I should not say girl, there's a woman on social media. Her social media handle is Miss B Nasty. She is an OnlyFans. And, her name is her name, so you can guess the content. And, Shannon said he likes her. I question, is he really wanting these type of things, or is it just, it sounds good to say? Listen, why wouldn't he? This is Andy talking to me. I know you guys can't hear him. I feel like he is just saying it, but really he doesn't want to do the thing. Shannon Sharpe, well-preserved, well-kept 56-year-old man, but a 56-year-old man hitting the streets for the 20-year-olds. They're going to want those dollars. And Shannon said he's open to pay, but realistically, what else are they going to want from a 56-year-old man at 25 years old, right? The majority of them. And he's open to that, but not.
I was going to answer.
Well, I want you to answer when we come forward. Because listen, I want to know. I want to know. I'm
going to tell you.
I mean, because I can say, when I was in my 20s, you weren't dating a 56-year-old man unless he was taking care of you. And even then, that would not have been my particular choice. But I know some young ladies that would or did make that choice. And life is good, Yeah. So we all make our choices. But we'll get more into that on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, home of the 2024 Climate Justice Campaign.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we were talking, well, no, you were going to enlighten us as to what else the 26-year-old would be looking for the 56-year-old.
Oh, you know what they want. You already named it, but they want benefits. They want trips. They want to be flued out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to have their daddy issues healed.
And, you know,
in a roundabout way.
And Shannon said he pays bills.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to work, but you got to understand that he's very, very clean. You have to, if you have when you have your bodily function situations, you got to go to another room, another bathroom, separate. He said he's going to sleep with his palms in the bed, meaning his 2 Pomeranians. So you'll get kicked out of the bed before they will. That's just some of the things. So to me, you don't really want a young girl, Shannon. You're saying you want to train them, but do you really? You don't want the headache. You ain't got the patience for all that. That's just my opinion. But Brother Alfonso says, these are new 20s women here, Jill. Yeah, they're new. They want the coins. I'm not disagreeing with that. They're not getting with the sugar daddy for love and everlasting support. Get me these coins.
Some of them are.
Babe.
Sweet Tea, she's in it for love.
Who's Sweet Tea? Oh.
You know Sweet Tea.
From Married to Medicine?
From Married to Medicine, yeah.
Okay.
She loves him.
She does.
Old and young. What's his name again?
Greg?
Dr. G?
Dr. G?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But did she seek him?
She sought him out. She slid in that man's DMs.
I know. I talked to her about it.
You did. That's why I brought it up.
But let's not act like if Dr. G... Do you think if Dr. G was Safari but older, meaning not with a stable job on reality TV, would she have been sliding in the DMs?
Yeah.
You think so?
Because I found... So I'm going to just slide you something, and I just want you to look at it because I discovered something about somebody yesterday. And these are very normal people. And I was just like, okay, yeah. Okay, so people are really out here doing this. Oh, I messed it up. I was like, people are really out here.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I was like, but people are really out here doing this. Okay, but yeah.
So listen, Thomas Outlaw says, I wonder how the 4-letter Mouse Network feels about Shannon's time outside. I think they have run off other host contributors for less freaky pursuits. They're not doing anything with Shannon Sharpe. What they think is that First Take on January 15th of 2024 got 1.7 million viewers, the highest views ever for a First Take show. Since Shannon has joined the show in September, the views have been off the charts. They are no one even talks about Undisputed anymore. The views for First Take have done nothing but gone up and gone up and gone up every time Shannon appears. He only appears on the show once a week. So while you are correct that they twice a week, Mondays and Tuesdays, even still now that after this week it'll still be Mondays and Tuesdays since the season's over. Okay, so I wasn't sure, but oh yeah, you got to open that back up for me. Mm-hmm. But so I don't think ESPN is thinking anything but keep the views pouring in. And to that, a caveat to that, as we talked about, I believe it was last night, ESPN is about to be on its own little side venture with FS1, Fox Sports, and TNT. So really, all eyes on us. They're like, halo effect, keep it coming, because views were down. So that is my opinion on that. Brother Alfonso says it's pay for play for all ages in many cases these days. That is a fact. And Kendi says Shannon might want more kids. Al Pacino had a kid in 2023 with a 29-year-old, and he's 83. Shannon said he don't want no more kids. You are right about that. Men can keep popping it out. And, I don't think Al wanted a kid. I think he was like, oh, you want a kid? Okay. Same with Robert De Niro. But, keep it popping. Let's listen to what Monique had to say to Shannon, though, about where his dating
advice
pursuits should be.
Dating. What advice? If somebody, if a group of women were in here and they're like, come on, they talk to us. How this dating thing? Because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
But you tried to say what you tried to say. Mo,
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me
tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old out there that can love you old. You're trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it. Dang. When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her like, listen, you want some money to go to Starbucks?
Yeah,
because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that 4th round, she's going to say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese and some toast with apple butter, because that's going to get your energy back up. I'm talking right to you. So he thought I was going to be scared. Yes, I'm talking. And I know old gal, she'll be good to you. Her name is Elladora. Now, when you know somebody named Elladora, she's old school. Mm-hmm. Now, Miss Elladora told me to tell you. She said, I think he like red velvet.
Oh, I do.
I say, Miss Elladora, if he do like that, she said, you let him know I got something for him.
Yeah, I like
she don't have no teeth. Come on, pick your glass up and clack it for me. Come on now. These young gals will bite you. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, guess I got to come on home.
Come on home, Shannon. And y'all stop putting lies out about my brother, because I was in my feelings when y'all said he didn't date black women. Y'all stop that. You stop, and then he might throw a white one in there every now and again. And it's okay. It's okay. Because sometimes, we ain't into everything. Yeah. We don't do everything. So sometimes Uncle Shay Shay need a spice of life.
Yeah, see? There you go.
He need to go across the street, but he always going to come back. That's all we say to you, Oprah and Tyler. Come on home. Come on home. Come on home. Come on home.
So, one... Shannon ain't gonna date no girl that's making him no turkey wings and whatever. He's too concerned about his physique. I think that he could find it should he want to. I don't have a problem with him dating young. I don't care. I'm not like, oh, you shouldn't. That's your thing. But I do think that he could find an attractive fit, because we know that is important for him. Woman that's perhaps a little older, that maybe, can bring some stabilization, but perhaps he doesn't want that in his life. Perhaps he wants the wild times right now. I was happy Monique brought up the thing about white women and Shannon Sharp. He mentioned, he was like, yeah, my kids are black. I know that he does not think that is an answer when his daughters are, I'm not sure if he has a son as well, but his children are, one, over 30. So that was a long time ago. Your taste certainly could have changed since then. Again, no shade, but just saying. And two, Shannon, be for real. But I don't know. What did you think about her dating advice?
I appreciate Monique for her genuine authenticity at all times. And it made me chuckle because what she just said sounded like something that I would say to somebody. 100%, even down to the white girl thing. So as I was listening to it, I was like, oh, this is how I come across to people.
You heard yourself in that
I
moment.
heard myself in that moment, and I love it. Because
go ahead.
It's just honest truth, and people, I think people, it's refreshing to hear just a different take, and just something real that I call it kitchen table talk, is what we talk, how we talk in the kitchen,
right,
over drinks and some food or whatever, and it's just real talk, and it's good. I like it. Keep it coming.
Brother Alfonso said OJ's first wife was black. I rest my case. Listen,
I love Marguerite. Shout out to Marguerite.
Shout out to Marguerite. Shout out to Arnell.
Oh, don't even get me started on Arnell.
Simpson was that girl.
Don't get me started on her. I will call her right now on speakerphone.
I love Arnell. So, but listen, I mean, come on. Kanye talked about it. We know what the thing is. When you get on, you're going to leave you for a white girl.
Just like he did.
Man, he told us.
Yeah.
Kanye prophesized it.
Yeah.
He prophesized.
Well, they call that foresight.
I guess so. Foreshadowing something.
Yeah.
For his problems with his, baby mama, ex-wife, all of that. I guess that's another way manifestation works.
But wasn't he dating the Delta? That girl?
That was a long time ago.
His first girlfriend?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then he dated Brooke, and there's also Alexis in there and all of that. Changed over time. But I will say there is a professional NBA team, they're all professionals. Let me back this up. There is an NBA team that was popular back in the day, right? Really, really popular NBA team. And I was looking at, this was a couple year two ago, at a photo. They had this particular team, they had all gotten together post career, years and years after they retired, and out of the team, right, let's say it was 10 teammates that got together from this time period, all but maybe 2 were remarried. Okay, not only were they all remarried, I'm going to tell you that all of these men who had black wives at the time, now remarried, none of their wives were black. So, that conversation piece started from somewhere. The idea of such. I'm not saying it's the only thing. I'm not saying that everybody does it. I am just saying that let's not act like, oh, I got black kids, doesn't mean that you didn't switch up somewhere along the line, because we have heard several men allude to the fact that it's a form of elevation. But that in and of itself is a conversation for another time. I do appreciate Monique being real and raw and so forth. We're going to get on one last little segment from Monique. This is where she said she talked with Shannon about his on-air incident with Skip Bayless, where they were I can't remember the player that was the catalyst, but they got into a really heated debate, and it was the start. Andy's gonna tell me. Tom Brady. I was thinking, I was like, was it Tom Brady? It was. And Skip basically reduced Shannon's career to, it felt like nothing, to defend Tom Brady. And make no mistakes, I think Tom Brady is great. Like, obviously, what he has set out. But how can you disrespect Shannon Sharpe and what he did? First of all, they play different positions, so I don't even think that's fair. But again, a conversation for another time. Andy?
Hindsight is 20/20. Looking back at that situation, I think there's a way that Shannon Sharpe couldn't have felt disrespected.
You mean that he took Skip's words as disrespect and he could have looked at it another way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because, it's barbershop talk. They're always comparing, They always talk about LeBron versus Jordan, you know what I mean? And I don't know. In a lot of ways, I just feel like things were boiling up and building up, and I think it was just that moment where he decided to maybe blow up or whatnot, because
It wasn't that much.
In my opinion, it wasn't that much, but I do understand how he felt disrespected, but I do think maybe he could have reacted differently.
I mean, I understand, and I agree with you with that. And I also think that the reason, to your point, that he reacted in that way was because of whatever was already TikToking behind the scenes. That's my assumption. I just feel like there was some built-up animosity that was coming.
And I'm curious to know if this was before or after the Damar Hamlin situation. Because if this was after
it was
the Damar...
right before. Was it right before or right after? I can't remember because they were like neck and neck with each other, and one kind of tapped into the other and spurred it on.
Absolutely.
So there was a lot there. I think that was already running its course. But let's hear what Monique had to say about Skip Bayless.
Okay, so let me say this to you. The day I watched Skip Bayless lose himself with you, and that's what he did. He lost himself. And when I watched Skip Bayless say to you, put them goddamn glasses back on, boy. Now, I know he didn't say goddamn and boy, but that's what everybody heard. And I was waiting for you to snatch his ass across that table, baby, and give it to him. I was like, Shannon, this is the perfect time. I don't condone violence.
Right.
I don't say be violent. But that day, I was in my feelings for 2 days. Me and my grandbaby could not watch you for 2 days. And my husband had to say, Mama, let's talk about this. Look at Shannon Sharp. He retired in 2004, but he could still get on that field and run touchdowns, tackles, everything. Had he snatched Skip Bayless across that table, he would have died in Shannon's arms that day.
Right.
So Brother Shay Shay handled that right. Now we can talk. Okay? I just had to get that off of me because I know everybody around the world heard what I heard. No, he didn't say them words, but we heard it in his mind, and we was looking for you to say space and opportunity, Skip. Space and opportunity.
That's that be more coming out of you.
You know what? That's your Aunt Mary coming out of me. That's your Aunt Mary coming out of me, baby.
I got an aunt named Mary Nell. Monique.
So listen, he goes on to say Monique reminds him of his aunt. But I do think, as we just discussed, that really there wasn't another way for Shannon to handle that on air. You cannot strike your coworker. It got as heated as it possibly could. There's really nothing more. But what was apparent in that moment was that the relationship was broken and probably wasn't going to recover from that. Listen, when we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We're going to get into this Master P and Snoop lawsuit, plus a whole lot more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
NWA. I rise, it was no surprise. I always knew these fools would trip. Hating, faking, scheming on mine and on the down low talk. Best move, cause I refuse to lose no matter which damn road I choose. So lay low, cause you might be bruised. Top story on the evening news. I ain't for games, so if you wanna play, I'm lay low. Lay down on the floor, I'm in a rage, so if we gotta do this,
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin will face a grilling on Capitol Hill over his secretive hospitalization. He's scheduled to testify before the House Armed Services Committee on February 29th. Austin, who is black, has faced sharp criticism as his unannounced hospitalization last month was not disclosed to President Biden or other senior administration officials for several days, prompting some to call for his resignation. The secretary last week publicly acknowledged he handled the situation poorly and apologized. In his annual State of the City address, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin called on members of the Alabama legislature to amend a state law that would allow funding for the financially ailing Birmingham Southern College. Woodfin, who is black, said changing one word in the law from may to shall would clear the way for the private institution to receive a $30 million loan approved by lawmakers in 2023, but later rejected by State Treasurer Young Boozer. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
We've all felt the impact of rising food prices. For families in poverty, they're facing malnutrition and even death. You can feed a family for a month with your $50 donation to Compassion International. Just text the word radio to 97646.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the AmeriCAN Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the AmeriCAN program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The AmeriCAN Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriCANCommunity.partners. That's AmeriCANCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Sheila E. I really wanted to play the percussions when the song came out. I wanted to take drum lessons. My parents were like, absolutely not. But you know, forever a bop. Classic songs. This song is like 40 years old at this point. That is bananas. Welcome back into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we are going to wrap up our Monique conversation.
There's more?
There's one more thing.
Uh-oh.
But this is more reactionary. I'm sure there'll be tons of reactions tomorrow because it is what it is. But, you know, our family here at KBLA Talk 1580, D.L. Hughley, he has a show on that comes on the afternoons right here on this station, 2 to 4 p.m. You know, Monique brought him up in the interview. And we know they had that situation where there was a debate as to whether or not it was over who was headlining the show. And she said DL did something and this was in her contract and so forth. And she brought this topic up again, even though they had allegedly, I believe, squashed it. And she said that DL was lying, that what he showed was a deal memo and not a signed contract, and that details can change from a memo to a contract. That's true. But DL says, absolutely not. She was lying. So I'm not going to play the clip because I'm sure he'll handle it on his own show. And there's a lot of bleeps to it, so we're not going to do that. But I'm going to give you a little bit of what he said and the caption. He said, the reason lies and false narratives continue to go on and circulate is because they go unchecked. What you're not going to do is call me out of my name and not get checked. Monique is a liar. She is constantly throwing the rock and hiding her hand. You don't get to tear people down and then soften the blow by calling them brother, sister, sweet baby. That's not love. Far from it. I'm sure Ike thought he loved Tina too. Apologize? I will never forgive or forget the way that you tried to manipulate my daughter's trauma to fit your sick narrative. I don't play when it comes to mine because I love my family for real. Taking a dig at Monique because she always says, I love y'all for real. And they actually love me back. He went on to mention how he finds it strange that none of Monique's family deals with her. He talked about the situation with his daughter and how he felt she turned that around. You know, and there was more. He laid it out. And what I do think that is important to consider as, you know, we get our laughs off or we, you know, critique or break down the interview is that a lot of this has to do with how you see a situation, your perspective as well. what you feel is coming at you as far as disrespect or inappropriate behavior, how you retaliate that behavior. And some of it, I believe, is as a familiar theme that you and I talk about, Trent, and Andy as well on this show, communication. Some of it is a communication thing. Some of it is, everybody feels they're right in the scenario to a degree. It depends on how you explain it, shape it up, and lay it down. Now, everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to decide what side they come down on. But we know we'll be hearing about this for at least a few more days. What I do wonder is that, when it's all said and done, we know Cat Williams is starting his tour with Torrey Hart. The May 4th show, which is right here in Inglewood at the YouTube Theater, is part of the Netflix is a Joke Comedy Festival, and it will be recorded for a special. So, Cat is moving, right? We don't know what's next, but Cat has some momentum. He has some motion to him. I don't know if Monique is going to have the same motion, and sometimes that saddens me. And this, I do think, is because she is a black woman, and a black woman of a certain age. I think that they feel like, listen, at this point, there's talent that we can swap you with. Not that people don't always take that approach, but I do feel like, good, bad, or indifferent, whether Tyler said you were a headache or not, and we know he admitted to saying that, at this point, in a lot of people's mind and the way that this rollout has, you are real or perceived. And I just wonder, we saw 50 do it, but I just wonder who is going to be the next. We saw Lee Daniels do it. I should point that out too. She pointed out that Lee apologized to her. He apologized to her family, put money in her pocket. We know that the horror movie that they did, that came out on Netflix a few months ago, sometime last year, did well. But I wonder what's going to happen to her career. And that is one of the things that saddens me. Because, again, you can't tell someone how to get over it. You can't tell someone what to do. But at this point, a decade later, is it bringing you the peace or the results that you want it to? That would be my question that I would have. Forensic Accountant in the chat says, Eddie Minfield and Eric Leeds from Paisley Park are two of the greatest sax players ever. Then they added Maceo Parker and Candy Duffler later. Crazy. Shout out to Everything Prince, Minnesota, all of that. That's what that reference is. Brother Alfonso says, thanks for the trivia. Forensic Candy Duffler, as a performer, she's good. So shout out to them and that. Listen, this is a good time to remind you that KBLA Talk 1580 is your election information station. And we just released our first ever survey of Black LA County voters. The results are groundbreaking, and the district attorney's race is wide open. Some of the key views from the Black community are concerned about include crime, criminal justice, and, these issues aren't being addressed by the current candidates that are in the field. So if you want to see the results of our very first political poll of likely Black voters in LA County, hit up the website, KBLA 1580. While you're there, get a rundown on our interviews with current candidates with past interviews, as well as fill out our climate justice survey. We have your Black KBLA Talk 1580 is the only station in Southern California holding it down like that. When we come forward, we're going to get into the Snoop and Master P story and more trending topics and headlines with Trent Jackson, Trent the Artist. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions
My
apply.
mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Not rolling for Duncan Shannon and their client CTPP. This radio spot is entitled Stephen, KICA 2023. ISKI code XCF S020500. And this is a 30-second radio spot, stereo monocompatible.
That was another way I would smoke once an hour. That didn't work either. All that would happen at some point of the day, I would end up doubling up. Other ways that I tried to quit was I stopped buying cigarettes totally. But if I took 3 puffs off of 15 friends, those didn't count because they weren't my cigarettes and they weren't full cigarettes. I went through a lot.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So really quick, before I get into the Snoop story, I wanted to share this with you guys because I know this is of interest to you. So FYI, coming this March to the South by Southwest Festival, the Freaknik movie, aka the title is Freaknik, The Wildest Never Told, will premiere in Austin. So it is coming. Start your engines and get ready. The Freaknik documentary, not really sure. Well, yeah, I think it's a film, is dropping soon. So I hope y'all are ready. Hope you got your excuses ready for those of you that are concerned you might pop up in some footage. And I think it's going to be a good time. So listen, Master P and Snoop Dogg, we know that they are hip-hop entrepreneurs. They have expanded into other areas. They were once, technically label mates, but Snoop was signed to Master P's label. And in recent years, Master P started his whole food company where they produce chips and breakfast food, etc. And Snoop joined in with that, and he has some breakfast foods. He has a cereal, pancake mix, I think there's syrup, and something else, right? So they are distributed through Walmart. Well, Snoop and Master P have filed a lawsuit against Walmart and Post Foods, who is the distributor of their food brands. They say that they are trying to sabotage their cereal business. So attorney Benjamin Crump is representing them, right? And they believe that they were victims of deceptive practices that caused their cereals to go unsold. In the lawsuit, they claim that Walmart and Post Foods prevented their food brand, Snoop cereal, from being easily accessible to customers, despite its popularity among consumers. The lawsuit claims that in some stores, the cereal was placed away from the cereal aisle, in the baby section, or in clearance areas and was heavily discounted. They believe that those actions were deliberate and allegedly directed by Walmart and the Post Food headquarters. So what Benjamin Crump said is that the case shines, let me slow down, a light on the challenges faced by minority business owners in securing fair opportunities in the marketplace. Post Food, of course, is denying any wrongdoing. They say, Post Consumer Brands was excited to partner with Brodus Foods, and we made a substantial investment in the business. We were equally disappointed that the consumer demand did not meet our expectations. So Walmart has yet to respond. They say they are gathering evidence and will issue a statement. But what are your thoughts on that?
There's so many ways to disenfranchise black businesses. But I also think that considering the market for their products.
You think the market is limited? You think that they believe that there's more market share for them than maybe perhaps what there is?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that as well. I mean, maybe even the stores were ambitious in their orders.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good concept at first, and you know, they've had success at other products, so they probably were just like, okay, this is, you know, a strong venture based on other things that they've done. And I just don't think this was it. A breakfast cereal, pancakes.
Okay. So
wrap snacks.
We'll have to see the wrap chips. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think those were doing pretty good.
Nice. I think people still buy those, actually. I haven't tried them, but
you know, I've tried them. They taste like chips. Not like that. I mean, that's not bad or good. That's just they taste how you expect them to taste. So
okay.
If you're buying it to support black business and because the packaging has your favorite rapper on it or whatever. But wasn't bad. I mean, you know, it's processed chips, so it's what it is. But to your point, it's not something that I see in my regular grocery stores. It's stuff I see if I stop into, you know, a liquor store or, you know, little spots.
Right.
But, I mean, that part obviously has nothing to do with Walmart or whatever. But I do think that there's sometimes maybe, it depends on what areas these are. Maybe in Compton and Houston, they go crazy for Brodus Foods and Snoop cereal, or I can't remember the name. But maybe in Iowa and, you know, Alabama, they do not.
Right.
I don't know. But I do think that there are times, too, when maybe the assumption is people don't want this rappity rap stuff. And, you know, maybe they will put it in an area where it is not as obvious and on display. So we will have to see what develops. We know Benjamin Crump gets to it.
The bottom of the line and the bag.
So we will see what is going on. Urban Spinster brings up a great point. She says, I haven't seen one commercial for those type of snacks. What was spent on marketing? And I feel you with that because I haven't either. I feel as though maybe I used to see, I might be imagining in magazines, maybe on Instagram I would see
Instagram
something
ads,
where people, but that is a great point. Are you marketing to the people that need to, you know, buy this? Maybe hip hop heads that are 25 that would buy rap snacks, maybe they don't want to be in the kitchens, you know, mixing up pancake mix. I don't know. Andy?
Or maybe they figured that, you know, if we just have Migos on the cover of these bag of chips, you're going to want to purchase it because your favorite hip hop group is on there.
True.
So
I do think, I agree. I do think that marketing is a key. It's kind of questionable. Trent?
No one's buying this.
Period. I mean, here's the reality, though. Sometimes things don't work, to your point.
Yeah, and not only that, I think because we are, as a culture, shifting away from stuff like
processed
this,
foods
and we
and
want
bad
to eat
stuff.
more healthy, and it's a shift. So this would have been appealing maybe 5-10 years ago, not so much now in the climate that we're in.
I think that is a great point too. We are more concerned with our health. We are trying to change some of our eating habits, and with all due respect to some of the snacks, and I want them in this business. If you look at some of the products that they are putting out, and if you read labels, let's just say it's not the healthiest. And I am not one to say that everything needs to be healthy. I'm definitely not that person. But I think you also have to your point, once again, consider where we are as Black Americans health-wise, the high cost of health care. We're looking where we can make those changes and things like that. And food is a big indicator how we eat, what we eat, and eating less processed food can only be better for us.
Forensic Accountant has an amazing comment in the chat.
Okay, I'm going to read it in 1 second. Andy.
Devil's advocate.
Yes.
You got to support Black business. Come on now. Why y'all hating? I'm over here trying to do my thing, entrepreneur business. Instead of buying them Doritos, cop my wrap snacks.
But if your wrap snacks aren't everywhere, right, then that is where we talk about distribution, and that could be not their fault. But part two to that is, and I do ask this question because we talk about this at times, support Black business, but as we've seen with Keith Lee and his food tours, right, you are not always ready for the abundance that you ask for. Sometimes, and is it okay? Because we recognize, we see this from this tour, just because it's a Black business doesn't mean that it's quality. And we want to support us, and we want to support these things. But do we have to support no matter what the status is or the vitality of it is or the level if we don't feel it's up to par or something that is good for us?
Devil's advocate.
Again.
I am a Black business.
Yes.
And I do take quality very serious, but unfortunately, my resources aren't up to par yet.
Okay.
But I'm on the grind though. Okay. I'm trying to work towards that. You guys still gonna penalize me?
It's not, I don't think so, no. But is it penalized because you don't have the things yet? There are other things that you can do. Customer service is free. You don't have to have $1 to be respectful to your customers. You don't have to necessarily have extra things to be honest about the times and the waits and how you address people. Things like that. Some of those things can have more than an impact, and we will work with you and we will be patient and we'll sit down and we'll deal with some of the other stuff. But I think how you treat a customer is important, and sometimes that is the thing that we can't get past. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics and headlines. I'm going to save these comments that are in the YouTube chat for hour 3. Hey, I screenshot them. Yeah, we're headed to hour 3.
Oh, wow.
All of that and more on the other side. We're going to talk about Deshaun Jackson and his wanting sole custody of his kids because he believes his ex has been taken into a cult. We'll get into all of that on the other side. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.